Welcome guys to another Chef Look Cooks. We've got a nice big full house tonight. Oh thanks guys, we haven't even started yet. We got a nice big full house tonight. We are going to be making crepes. Crepes are kind of one of the most amazing little batters you can throw together. There's no leavening. It's basically just eggs and a little bit of flour to sort of stick it all together. And you can put so many different things in them. Most of the things we've been making in our batter series have been very flexible. You can go sweet, you can go savory. Crepes are sort of the epitome of that. You can even use the same batter with sugar in it and vanilla and still make a savory crepe. We're not going to do that. We're going to do savory crepes first, and then we're going to switch into a sweet version. Just to sort of give you guys an idea of what's going to be coming your way, I'm going to make a couple of ham and cheese crepes. We're just going to sort of show you the sort of quesadilla method. Some of you, if you've ever been to like a crepe store, this is kind of the similar method that they would have. They do a nice, we're not going to do big crepes, but they do a crepe, they fill it, they fold it up into quarter, and then you kind of eat the whole thing in your hand. We're going to do that, and I'm going to cut them in halves, and so you guys all get a chance to try the ham and cheese. Before I do that and start the whole process, does anybody not want ham? Anybody else? So we got a couple people. I'll make a couple cheese ones, just so we have them available, and otherwise everybody else will get some ham. I'm just going to pull the rest of my ingredients out of the fridge, kept them really nice and cold. I do like to do this batter. It doesn't have to be like cold. You don't have to keep it in the fridge, but I do like to do it and keep it cold. I find that it sort of spreads out a little bit better in the pan as it heats up. There we go. So as I go here, the other thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing some sweet crepes. So I've got ham and cheese. We're going to do ham and Swiss. I hope everybody's okay with Swiss. I absolutely love it. We're also going to do some sweet crepes. So we're going to do some berries. We've got raspberries and blueberries, keep it simple, and we're also going to do some strawberries. We're going to macerate these strawberries. So maceration is where you put a little bit of salt and sugar on there, and it gets the juices flowing, it literally just breaks down the cell wall so that the water that's in the cells comes out. It mixes. With strawberries especially, it's going to make a really nice sort of syrup that you're going to be able to put over the top of your crepes. So we're going to start with that. We're actually going to start with these, sort of get our prep ready for later. We've got a little side table over here. This is going to be for topping your crepes. As a second portion, after I do the ham and cheese ones, I'm just going to be making individual flat crepes. I'm going to be putting them on your plates for you, and you'll be able to sort of dress them with whatever you want for dessert. So we'll start with the ham and cheese, and then we'll go into a dessert crepe that is of your own making. So, all right, so first things first, wash your fruit. I will admit, on a personal level, I don't usually do this, but I'm doing it all for you all because I want to make sure everybody's nice and safe. I'm just kind of a weirdo too. I'll eat them right out of the container, but it's usually a good idea, just in case there's anything on there. Especially right now, where we're so close to being able to eat them, it's not going to be detrimental to them if we do get them wet. A lot of times strawberries and raspberries, if you get them wet and you don't dry them off properly, they'll start to sort of degrade. With the strawberries, that's not a problem right now. We actually want them to start to sort of break down and macerate. But the raspberries, I don't want them to be too watery or anything like that. So get that nice and shook out over here. And I'm just going to set this up, just keep it simple, make it easy for you all when the time comes. So we're going to just take these washed berries and pop them in a nice little bowl here. And when the time comes, you guys can just sort of take however many you want. We've got little tongs here and make a nice little presentation for yourself. And then for the strawberries, we're actually going to macerate them. So that's going to take a little bit of effort. Nothing too crazy though. Just some cutting and a little bit of salt and sugar, and then we'll sort of let them hang out while we do all of our savory experiences. Okay, great. So whenever you're cutting anything, especially like this, a lot of times people will like reach in and take one and then cut it. I personally like to dump everything out onto my table. What it means is that I'm just doing less motions, right? So I reach up, I take a berry out, I cut the berry. Here, I don't have to reach up, and it seems like a small amount, but for me, especially someone who has been doing a lot of like big prep for kitchens, when you do something 100 times, it's maybe not a big deal if you save a little bit of time every single time you do it. But if you do it 1,000 times, that same amount of time you're saving is going to really sort of kick back to you. So if you start doing this today, you're going to save by in a couple years you're going to have saved like a couple hours. You can go out to a nice dinner and it's going to feel free. That all that time you saved will finally pay its dues just by not lifting your hand out one extra little inch. Now granted, I'm just kind of taking like a more leisurely cut with this, but if I was like in the middle of a crazy kitchen rush, this would feel a lot, sort of nicer to be able to just jump through these. And I'm just cutting off the green part. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I usually just eat it. You just take the whole strawberry just like that and pop it in your mouth. There's nothing wrong with that green. It's great, it's delicious, it's really good for you, extra fiber. But I'm not gonna subject you guys to that. So I'm gonna try it next time, especially if you're getting like a fresh morning glory. Strawberry, just pop it right in your mouth, greens and all. You'll never even know it was there. And then for this, we're just gonna layer these in some nice long lines about the length of my knife, so just so I can slice them easier. I'm just keeping my fingers, whoops. That wasn't my finger, that was a strawberry that went anyway. Alright, that wasn't a finger, whoops, that was a strawberry, whoops. You just wanna keep your fingers away, and that's just tucked in. You always wanna keep sort of the edge of your knife on your knuckles, because it's kind of not really an important part of your finger. If you cut it off, the tips of the finger is very important. So keep the knife away from the tips and on your knuckles. You should be good to go. If your hands don't bend that well, I know definitely happens, that's okay. You can also sort of do like a flat hold like this, just keep your thumb out of the way. You can kind of hold them like this, flat, and again, similar situation. If you do cut anything, you're going to cut off a little bit of the side of your finger. Again, we don't want any of these things to happen, but knife safety isn't about necessarily being safe. It's about preventing serious injury when things go wrong, because sometimes it's just out of your control. Something weird happens. The vegetable has a weird hole in it that you didn't recognize, and it just slips all over the place. There's just so many things that could possibly go wrong with a knife. So preparing yourself is where it's at. So again, I'm just lining these up, and the length of my knife is what I want to do. And you got to feel comfortable with the knife. If you don't, do them one at a time, please do. You don't have to be doing the same things I'm doing here. I'm just sort of showing you so that you know that it's possible if you so desire to. But again, these aren't going to be perfect either. If you wanted more sort of even cuts, you could do this one at a time, or use something like a mandolin, which is going to give you the exact same width cut. A mandolin is just a flat blade that has a little angle up, and you sort of slide food over the top of it. Really, really fun, really, really dangerous. When I was younger, I cut myself on one and didn't use it again until I worked at Beach Road as a professional chef. And my first time using it, I was terrified, which was good, because I was never terrified of it again after that. I took my time, I used it, I realized that it was not really a scary thing to use. In fact, it was incredibly useful. And I've been mandolining ever since and not cut myself. Now, granted, I have no mandolins near me, so I'm not going to knock on any wood, because if I did, I would guaranteedly cut myself immediately right after saying that. Great, so we got our strawberries in here. Super simple. We're just going to hit them with a little bit of sugar and salt. It's not that hard. Salt is very important here. You can do just sugar when you're macerating, but I find that it tastes a lot better with salt. Salt is going to activate your taste buds. It's also going to be a lot more effective at breaking down the cell walls on the fruit. Any sort of crystalline structure will do. Essentially, the way I kind of think about it is the little salt crystals get in there. They're very sharp, even at a molecular level, and they just cut through the cell wall. All the water comes right out. Salt is just a lot better at that. So it's not going to be much, literally just like a little tiny sprinkle. It's less than a teaspoon, just enough to get us going. And then sugar, we're going to go a little bit more intense with. We're going to go about a half tablespoon here, or a couple teaspoons if you want. The strawberries are out of season, so I might actually hit them with just a little bit more, because they're probably not that sweet, to be honest. But if these were like fresh summer strawberries, I might not even put any sugar. I might just stop with the salt. I think that would be totally okay. And we're just going to mix these up. Let them go to town. You should be able to see the sort of the sugar and salt sort of coating them. They could get kind of frosty on the outside. And then what will happen is that'll immediately start to dissolve as some of the water comes out, and we'll have a nice syrup in the bottom of this. And they'll kind of cook a little bit. They should get a little bit more floppy, easier to deal with, which would be nice when it comes to plating them for you all. All right, great. So those are ready to go. I'll make sure to get them on the plate when we get around to that portion of, or get them, I guess I'll just put them over here for now. You guys gonna be okay? Like temptation-wise, if I put you over here? Yeah, cool. Sweet, so I forgot actually, we have bananas too, because a really great crepe that I really like is Nutella and bananas. So we've got, okay, good, I'm happy somebody's happy about that. I totally forgot that it was a thing. We do some Nutella over here, and we'll go with our bananas. And so you basically make as sweet a crepe as you so desire. Bananas are really sweet. I love them. I usually freeze them and put them in my smoothies in the morning. I'm going to show you a fun little trick for peeling them. You just let them get a whole row just like this. You take the peel. It'd be more impressive if I had more, but it doesn't really work if they're not connected. So you just take the peel and you peel both of them at the same time, And then you take this right here and just take the entire banana out. It's a pretty simple process. If you're lucky, you'll get the little bit at the end. Again, this is one of those things that I do that not everybody likes to do. This is kind of like eating the skin on a potato. There's a lot of nutrients in this little bit right here. The roots and the ends and the skins tend to have the most nutrients of fruits and vegetables. So these right here are like power packs. I always put them in my smoothie. We're not going to eat them today. Again, I'm not going to suggest sort of make you guys go through the things I do. But again, you peel them right at the same time. It makes your job a lot easier. I learned how to do this when I was working at a smoothie bar. We used a lot of bananas. So you know, the faster you can peel bananas, the better. And it's the same deal with these too. Again, if you're using smoothies, just toss them in. They're good for you. This is what brings the nutrients to the banana and helps it grow. So it's going to be good for you too, obviously. If it's good for the banana, it's good for you. So I'm just going to line these all up, just do really, really simple. If we wanted to be crazy, we could kind of like go at a bias, but honestly, I kind of just like them flat. And so we're just going to do some nice flat ones. And again, just keep your fingers out of the way and try your best to sort of cut them all about the same size. And we're not going to do anything crazy. The bananas, they're already plenty sweet. They don't really have any juice in them. So we're just going to cut them and keep them all in one little bowl so we have a nice place to access them later when we go to make our delicious Nutella and banana crepes. And I will tell you right now, guys, it's a sort of a special surprise for later, but I'm not really good at keeping secrets. There is whipped cream in my fridge over there, so we're about to get really fun when we get to desserts. But first, it's the savory time, so bear with me as we cook something a little bit more savory, a little bit more tasty. I am going to use this other side here. Hey, Leo. All right, great. So, without further ado, let's make our crepe batter. So, crepe batter is really, really simple. Very, very few ingredients compared to some of the other things we've been doing. Yeah.
Milk.
Oh, yeah. Here, sorry. Yeah, of course. Thanks. I always forget what I'm doing with stuff like that. A lot of the things we've been doing in the past have used leavening. So that's baking powder, baking soda, or yeast. We're not using yeast at all in this whole series, but you know, it is an official leavener. This has no leavener, and that's on purpose. Crepes are thin pancakes, essentially, is the idea. Pancakes having leavener, that's when you put them in the pan, they sort of get that nice rise, you get the little bubbles, it's beautiful. Crepes, we don't want any of that. We don't want bubbles, we don't want anything. We will be whisking this, but we won't be whisking it to incorporate air, we'll be whisking it to break up clumps. So instead of sort of whisking from the bottom up, we're going to be more whisking like a stir and kind of beating it down more than anything else. And that's to get rid of clumps. And to start our sort of journey towards getting rid of clumps, we're going to use a sifter. I talked about this last time before doing our waffles. It works really good for waffles, but then I didn't use it. So we're going to use it today. We're going to make it right. I'm doing a triple batch. This batch makes 8 crepes, but that makes 8 crepes in an 8-inch pan. This is a 6-inch pan. So that should be making us 12 crepes. That'll give us 36 crepes. Should be enough for everybody to have a sweet one and half of one of the savory ones I'm making. So fingers crossed that works out well. We're going to find out. Usually I use 1/4 of a cup of the crepe batter for each crepe, but in this situation we are going to be using 1/3 of a cup and see how that goes. And we'll sort of adjust as we go, just because this needs to be bigger, I think. Oh well. Bear with me as I sift. So a lot of times when you're sifting, if you have something to agitate, it goes a lot faster. So just shove something in there. It can be a spoon too. In this case, I'm using the Whisk, which is really nice. And sifted flour is just so pretty. It looks like little tiny bits of snow. So because I'm tripling this recipe, we're going to be using 5 1/4 cups of flour, 9 eggs, 6 cups of milk, and 1/3 of a cup of oil and or butter. In this case, I'm going to use oil just because we're going to use butter in the pans. But use as much butter as you want. I personally like oil for batter recipes because it doesn't get hard. Butter, if you put cold milk in there, it can sort of solidify. It makes it kind of lumpy. It's not really exactly what you're going for. So I like to avoid that whenever possible.
It's going, Chris.
It's going good.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, yeah. All-purpose flour, you can use cake flour, you can use pretty much anything for this. You don't really using gluten at all. Eggs are going to be our binder, like our main and only binder in this. So you can use pretty much anything, and you can usually use weird flours too, like nut flours and gluten-free flours, because again, the gluten isn't really like essential to this process. It's going to make it a little bit more chewy. It's going to give it a little bit more bite and sort of elasticity when you go to wrap it. But it's not essential to the process, which is nice. The biggest thing here is just having nice, fresh, good eggs. Yeah, it's hazelnuts. Hazelnuts and chocolate. Has anybody been paying attention? Does anybody know what I'm on? It's 4, good. I'm happy everybody else is here with me, just in case. I totally did not expect this thing to be so small. I mean, obviously you look at it, it's small, but in my brain I was like, that'll be perfect. I'll put at least a couple cups in there. I think I'm used to measuring. I usually measure with a half cup when I'm measuring flour because it fits in the bag better. But with measuring 5 cups, I was like, I'm gonna try and make this a little bit faster here. And one of the most important things about this whole is that batters tend to be really, really easy. Even if you mess them up somehow, or you like put 1 extra egg, or you don't have an egg, or you're using baking soda instead of baking powder, or there's just so many things that could potentially go wrong when you're cooking these things. But batters don't generally care. It's not really like, if it looks right, it's probably going to cook right. Like if you put at least 1 egg in there, it's probably going to be okay. It's just making it look right is kind of the most important thing. After that, there's a lot of wiggle room, and because of that, it really lends itself to experimentation, which is my absolute favorite thing to do in the kitchen. Different types of flour, different types of filling, etc. I wouldn't put much in this batter though, just because you really don't want lumps. You want a nice, smooth, flat bottom. Okay, great. So there is our flour. Beautiful, nice, no lumps in there, which is exactly what we want. And we're just going to go ahead and crack some eggs in there. Now, I have chickens at home, and so I've gotten in a pretty good habit of cracking my eggs into a bowl first. And I'm going to do that today just in case. These eggs should be fine though, but it's just kind of, it always makes me feel better. And the last thing I want to do is have sort of our meal ruined by a bad egg. I've done that a couple times where I've cracked an egg into a pan that already had some eggs in it, and it's a sad thing to see them go. So I'm just putting the eggs straight in here. These ones are easy to count because you just count the yolks. Was there a question, Jay? Oh, okay, good. Again, we're doing 9 in here. 3, 6. Awesome. And then a couple of these shiny ones that I'm stealing from our personal stash. All right, awesome. So you can put more eggs in if you want. It is not going to hurt anything. Like if you just like it eggy for whatever reason, or you're making it like a really cheesy sort of breakfast crepe. Let's say you're putting, like sauteed peppers and onions, almost like a Western omelet or something like that. Put a couple more eggs in there because you're going to want that eggy flavor. We are going to have a sweet version of this, so we don't necessarily want too much extra egg in there. We just need enough to make sure that it binds. So that's what we're going for. All right, great. This is a quart, which is 2 cups. I need 6 cups of milk. So I got some heavy cream that's left over. This is like the use up the fridge. Crepes are really fun for using things up from your fridge, by the way, because you can literally put anything in there. You got like a little bit of sour cream, mix some water into it, shake it up, bam, put it in there. I've got this extra cream that's from a program. I don't want it to go bad. I'm going to pour this entire 2 cups of milk in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and take that cream and measure it out, see how much it is, and then I'm just going to hit it with some water, and that water is going to sort of take my cream and turn it into what am I trying to say here? Turn it into milk. It's going to take, it's quart. 4 cups, thanks, yeah. Appreciate that. 4 cups of milk. Quart is 4 cups. I need 6 cups for this recipe. So there we go. Just going to give that a little stir just to make sure the flour sort of gets broken down there a little bit. Awesome. And this is going to get very thin, which is what we want. But for now, it's going to kind of be a little chunky mess. Awesome. So let's see how much cream we've got, and then we'll just hit that with milk. I think it's about to be a cup of cream. Oh, this is gonna be very good. And a cup of water. And that's gonna hit you with something that's like close to whole milk as far as fat content, which is exactly what we want. So, and sometimes you just run out of ingredient and you gotta make it. But that's my fault. I went to the grocery store and was reading my recipe, and I'm like, yeah, totally. I only need 2 cups, and then I forgot that I'm cooking for everybody. So, surprise! All right, and we're just going to go ahead and put this together. Now, there's some things I'm missing so far. Oil, and we've also got salt, which I'm going to skip. I hope everybody's okay with that. And vanilla and sugar. The vanilla and sugar are optional for your sweet crepe. The salt is technically optional because it's always optional, but those are the 2 things that are optional for our sweet crepe. So we are going to add those in. We actually don't have any vanilla here, but I'm going to put the sugar in there for our second crepe once we're done making our savory one. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this mixed up, start it getting smooth, then I'm going to put the oil in once I get all of my flour off the sides and sort of this looking.
Why is it salt?
Just because, I guess, just because. It's kind of it's a personal choice. I'll gladly put it in there though if everybody wants me to.
No, I just.
Yeah, it's for this especially. It's not a very large amount of salt. The idea is that it's gonna sort of bring it together and make it a little bit more cohesive. But for me, I just find that a lot of times salt gets added into things because because people have just been doing it for a long time, but it's not usually necessary. For me, at least, when I have a less salty batter, I can taste more things like the eggs. And again, that might just be me. But I just like it, I guess, is the answer to that question. No real reason apart from personal preference. So we're going to go with 1/3 of a cup of oil. So again, the original recipe was 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons, or rather 4 tablespoons, is 1/4 of a cup. So 6 tablespoons is about 1/3 of a cup-ish. So we're just going to go and call that 1/3 of a cup. This is going to help our crepes not stick. They're going to be very, very, very flat. And so because of that, they're going to have really high potential to stick. Usually when you're doing a crepe pan, you want something that's non-stick, which this is. This is actually stoneware with a coating on it. Really, really fabulous pan. It's got an induction bottom, so it works with our nice induction burners here. We're actually going to get those warmed up right now because we're going to start really quickly here. And so you want something that's non-stick. Oil is going to help with that. We're going to put a little bit of butter in the pans as well. That's going to help with that. When they stick, they're usually pretty easy to get off. But you don't want them to stick if you can help it. And so this is a massive batch of crepes. We're about to cook this entire thing. Believe it or not, it's going to be in our bellies before the end of this day. Again, I'm just trying to whip this down. I'm really more beating up the clumps that have sort of formed just because I wasn't super fast. If I was doing this better, I probably would have like streamed the liquids in as I was going and made it a little bit smoother. But I'm just kind of a trashy guy. Trash Panda being my sort of COVID personality kind of speaks to just how I like to cook. I like to do things a little more simple if I can. And in this situation, it's not going to be the end of the day. We just don't want any clumps that are going to be like a piece of flour while you're eating it. That's going to really ruin sort of the experience. So we're just going to take a look, see what we got for clumps. Not too bad. Again, we really don't want to add air into this because you don't want it to rise at all. You want it to stay nice and flat. But you do want to make sure those clumps are out. So you want to beat it around a good amount. And so we're not really, because it's such a liquidy dough, or batter I should say, we're not really making that much gluten while we're beating it up like this. Yeah, that's pretty good. Awesome. And we'll keep mixing it as we go. Every single time we make a crepe, we'll mix it up. As batters like this sit for a while, the eggs do tend to separate out. Oil can separate out if you let it sit for too long. For instance, if you were, just take this thing off. If you were making this the night before, which is highly recommended, nothing wrong with it because there's no leavener in it. You can make it weeks beforehand and freeze it even if you wanted to. Just make sure that you mix it well again when you do go to actually cook with it. So these are getting nice and warm. Beautiful. Awesome. So our batter is done. So now we just have to cook, which is going to be sort of just a nice little process. We're going to have some beautiful conversations about all the fun things that have happened to everybody, and it's just going to be a bit of patience. What's up, Leo? The stoves?
Yeah.
These two?
Yeah,
We got them online actually. We got this particular pan we bought from just an online retail. It was pretty cheap, and I got one when we first sort of upgraded this kitchen so we could do these types of programs, and I fell in love with it, so I asked to get another one specifically for this program so I could cook crepes in it. This is probably my absolute favorite crepe pan. It's a little high. I wouldn't say that this is like an ideal crepe pan, but the fact that it cooks crepes but also is perfect for doing like 2 eggs in the morning and so many other different things. It's a really, really nice pan, and it's just like, it's just a sort of cheap stoneware pan, but it's really nice. It's really fabulous. You'll see as we cook here what kind of comes off of it. Hopefully it's impressive. All right, so we just got some basic deli ham and Swiss here. You can use basically anything you want. These are fairly thickly cut, and that's maybe a little thicker than is gonna be perfect, but like it's fine. We're gonna fold them, and so you know, if you have like there's a lot of like deli thin slice or whatever, you can just put a couple different pieces on there. That makes the folding a little bit easier. All right, these are feeling pretty good. I think you want to go up one. Awesome. Let's get some butter. So this is kind of my like preferred technique. Anytime I'm buttering a pan, I'll just sort of take the whole stick and just sort of hold it like that, and then you can kind of just like rub it on the pan. And I like to keep a little dish here just to put it in because it will melt. And so we're just going to do that to both these pans. And I don't want to put the butter in there for too long because it will burn. And this one's already sort of starting to, so I'm going to take that off the heat for a second. We don't want it to get too brown because it'll make the crepe a little bit more brown than we kind of want to. So we're going to take our 1/3 cup measure. We're not going to fill it all the way. And this is my first time doing the 1/3 cup. I was just kind of eyeballing with a 1/4 cup last time, so we're going to see how this, or a 1/2 cup. So we're going to see how this works. It might be too much batter. Oh yeah, definitely too much batter. That's okay though. So we're just going to put that in there, and we're going to sort of swirl it around the pan. We're going to use a little bit less than this one. Might just go back and get that 1/4 cup measure. Swirl it around in the pan. It's my first time cooking on this, cooking crepes on this, so these two might be for the crows or something, you know? We're going to find out, but that's the beauty of doing a nice large batch like this, just like with waffles. As you cook, you're going to sort of learn how to work with what you've got. Like for instance, this turns off when I lift the thing off, so I might actually crack the heat up just to sort of counteract that, because it's going to be getting cold every time I move it. Actually, that's looking pretty good. So I don't know if you guys can probably see that. See how it's moving as one sort of solid piece. That's good. It means it's not sticking, A. It also means that it's sort of forming an actual crepe, which is what we want. These might be a little bit thick, but that's okay. You just want to kind of check it out. Yeah, this one's looking like it's going to be okay too. All right, great. Well, so this one's already started forming, so I'm going to go ahead and just make it. So we're going to put a piece of ham right in the center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there's only 6 of these. Okay. Wait. Yeah. No. I do need to cut this in half. This is what happens when I don't do all the grocery shopping. I'm always like, what am I working with again today? All right, cut these in half. Bam. That's going to be perfect. So we just need half of these. We're going to put the ham down first because the ham is going to stick to the batter, and then cheese on top of that. I guess I should count this too just in case. Yep, cool. Cheese on top of that because the cheese is going to bind the ham to itself. And we're going to put that on the other side as well, just so it gets plenty of heat on it. And while we're here, we'll go ahead and this one looks like it's solidifying up just fine as well. So we'll go ahead and put that on there. Awesome. Oh, it's smelling good in here. I got to remember where I put my little guy here. I'm just going to get these ready to go. Yeah. Yes, 100%. Yeah, I'm going to make a couple of cheesy ones for sure. I'll keep those cheeses to the side right now as a nice reminder to myself. Oh yeah, this one's ready to go. So what you want to do now when you're doing these is you just sort of fold it over. That's your sort of first quesadilla, and you can stop right there if you want to, and we are going to stop right there just because it's going to be easier to cut them in half for you all. But what I would usually do if I was folding this like in a big restaurant or something, somewhere where I wanted to be a little more fancy, I think this one just got a slower start. This one will kind of catch up as we go along, but I'll make sure to cook it. I would take this and then I would also fold it either into thirds if I was doing a bigger one, or in half again. And that would make a nice sort of like fold up that you could hold in your hands. But that's going to be for bigger crepes. With these little 6-inch crepes, half is perfect. If you're doing anything larger than that, 8 or 12-inch crepes, you're going to want to do a sort of quarter fold or a third fold, which is what they do if you've ever been to like a little creperie, you know. They fold it over and they do like a little third fold and flip it over and sort of seal that edge, and that works out being really nice. So we're going to get these cooking. I'm actually going to pop them into the same one so we can get some moves going and start a new one, and we're just going to kind of work our way around this. Yeah, that's getting hotter. Nice. Oh yeah, there we go. So these are going to be a little bit more crispy because they are meant to be sort of eaten in your hands, whereas like a dessert crepe you want to sort of roll up. And so we are going to cook these kind of like that, where it's going to be something that almost looks like a quesadilla. All right, so a little bit of butter in here. And these are now hot enough now that I'm not really worried about too much. Like the butter's already brown, which is great. just sort of pop that around the pan. Ooh, these guys are almost being too non-stick for me today. Come on. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Okay, perfect. So now I'm still getting used to the situation, but that's good. That's perfect. And that one looks really good. That's nice and thin. So I'm going to go ahead and put the ham on there right away because I know that one's going to work out really well just looking at it. It's already starting to get nice and solid and cooked, which is exactly what we're looking for. Yes.
You're putting the whole piece of cheese on top of it.
Yeah.
Why are you whipping cheese?
Oh, because I'm going to fold it. It just makes it easier to fold it. Just because they're a little thicker. So I just want to. It's more for just for ease on the fold. Exactly. Yep. Okay. So we got one of these is done right now. I'm going to cut it up. So what I'd like to do, those of you in the back, this is how we're going to just do this for today. Back row is going to be served first, and we'll work our way forward, just because you guys get a better view, and so they get hotter food, I guess. It made sense to me. Hopefully you guys are cool with that. So I'm going to pop this guy out of here real quick, let it cool down a little bit. We'll get our next one going.
As if you're unloading an airplane.
Yeah, right? It kind of sometimes feels like that. Get this guy nice and flipped over, and we'll transfer him over here as well. Kind of my finishing pan. Beautiful. And we're just going to keep rocking. We're just mass producing here. We are going to be making 12 of these to cut in half for 24 halves for you guys all to try. And we're getting better here too. Oh yeah. There we go. I got a technique going now. I think I'm gonna get another pan for my little batter thing here, just to keep my cutting board clean, so I can actually cut these up for you all.
Do you use plastic cutting boards at home?
I use a variety of different cutting boards at home. Honestly, it's kind of a smorgasbord, I guess, of what I've got available. So again, ham, cheese. Yeah, good enough. All right, great. And then let's get our first one sliced up here. Nobody wants banana with their ham and cheese. Although honestly, it probably isn't that bad. But we'll skip that for today. I think my next purchase is going to be a really nice kitchen towel. I feel like we don't have one of those yet. For those of you who've watched me do this before, probably something you've been like, man, you should get a kitchen towel. Awesome. So there is our first go at some ham and cheese crepes for whoever would like to from the back row. Come on up here and grab those. We'll get some more coming here in just a second. We're just going to keep rocking and making crepes.
You want us to save our place?
Please do. I do have enough. I think I have enough where we can sort of use them. But if you would save your place, that would be great. Oh, let me get you guys some mustard too. I do think that these would be pretty good with a little mustard. If you want them, you're welcome to. Yeah, so I think I like, it depends on what I'm cutting, honestly. Like if I'm cutting raw meat, I want plastic. It's just easier to clean. If I'm cutting cheese, I want wood. Or bread, I want wood. Anything that like needs a complete cut all the way through, I usually want wood because it's a little bit softer, so you can kind of press harder into it. Whereas plastic, you really need like your knife to be perfectly seated, or you're not going to cut through that pepper or something like that. So it's kind of just like, it definitely depends on what I'm doing, I guess. Sorry, what was that? Oh.
What about like vegetables and fruit?
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. If I have one cutting board at home that has a nice sort of like liquid catcher that I really like for fruit, so I'm not wasting anything like that. So again, I think it's all just kind of like the vibes. You got to kind of like look at it. What am I doing? And then sometimes it's literally just whatever's in the drawer. You know, sometimes we're in the middle of doing dishes and it's just the only cutting board I have left. But I do have different varieties, and I think I do end up using plastic more, just because it's easier to clean more than anything else. So I'm feeling pretty confident about these crepes and how they've been cooking, so I'm just going to immediately put my cheese on here and my ham. What that lets it do, too, is get a lot more time to heat up before I flip it, which is going to make the crepe sort of cook a little bit better in the actual internals. Alright, we got a couple more rocking here. there. Yeah, they're nice, and a lot of that is from the eggs. Most of the time, when you're seeing that Maillard reaction, that browning, it's the proteins and/or the sugars that are coming together. But there's no sugar in here apart from what's in the actual flour. So a lot of that browning is the eggs sort of getting crispy, and that's why you want some nice eggs in there. So as I cut these up, just feel free to come on up as you can from the back. You guys can sort of police yourselves or don't. It'll be fine. Everybody's going to get food, I guarantee it. You'll probably get more food than you actually need. All right, that's what I like to hear. We got some eaters here. All right, beautiful. There we go. Now we're getting a little bit better here. I got my timing set up, I think. We've got a method now, which is really, cooking is a lot about method. You know, recipes are very important, but a lot of times just like getting the flow in your kitchen, you know, that's why mise en place is so important, why we have everything exactly where it needs to be, so you can get your flow going and really, really get a nice groove. Whoa, man, I thought I got all those out. So I just hit a clump, which is not good. I'm going to take this another stir to this so I don't get any more of those. It's the last thing I want. Beautiful. So does anybody have any favorite crepe fillings themselves? Like, I know I got somebody in the back who's a Nutella and banana person, so. Ooh, yeah, chicken and mushrooms. Do you like a cream sauce with it? Yeah, exactly. That's really good. That's actually what I'm eating for dinner tonight. Not with crepes, but I'm doing a creamy chicken and mushroom. Mushrooms are on sale at Stop and Shop, so it's time. Mushrooms are absolutely one of my favorite food items. I usually go foraging for mushrooms whenever I can. Found a good amount of chicken of the woods around here. Occasionally I'll find something a little bit more exotic than that, but honestly, I'm usually not really in the mood to sort of experiment too much with mushrooms. If you don't know what it is and you're not 100% sure, it's not worth it. You can go buy mushrooms nowadays. Like, I'm not in a situation where I'd need to test it out. If you ever are in that situation, just make sure you eat a little bit. Most mushrooms won't kill you, even with them a tiny little bit. But you'll know right away if they're not good for you, that's for sure. So these are great. Obviously, this pan is very helpful. You will have problems, like if you're trying to use just like a stainless steel pan, I wouldn't recommend it. Great, can be really good for omelets when you put a lot of oil in there, but with crepes, you want a little bit of tension on the bottom of the pan, as you've seen maybe a couple times. When I go to sort of like spread it out, if I have too much butter in there, it doesn't spread out well because it's too slippery. And so you want a little bit of tension on your pan to get a nice crepe sort of spin. But you know, if you've got if you've got too much, it's going to stick, and that's not going to be great for you. So let's make sure I get all these clumps out of here. I ran into a big one last time. Embarrassing.
What about using cast iron, enamel surface cast iron?
That's kind of what these are essentially. So yes, 100%. Yeah, enamel is great. Anything that's got a little bit of a non-stick vibe to it is gonna be good. And your butter's gonna help for sure. But I just like stainless steel for me is good for hard searing steaks and not much else, honestly. Things that tend to not stick in the first place, like meat, are usually what I like to cook on stainless. A lot of other things, especially batters, just, I don't know, it feels risky to me, so I always try and avoid it. Okay, I think I'll do the next one just cheese, and I'll do two just cheese in a row. All right, so chicken and mushroom, great choice. Anybody else have any crepes that they've had recently? Some particular favorite ones?
I've never had crepe.
Never once? Oh my gosh. All right, well, cool. Oh, that's no pressure. I got one crepe sitting up here, by the way, for anybody who wants to come grab it. Front to back, anybody at all, just come on in. We got two more coming right here too. Ooh, that one got crispy. So I really like doing this like with just some music on, maybe like if you're listening to podcasts, do a little podcast or audiobooks. Those of you who have not gotten into our audiobook selection here at the library, it's a really great thing to sort of do while you're sort of doing something else. You know, obviously you're busy all the time, so you don't want to be doing something that's active, but any sort of passive activities you have, whether it be, you know, chatting with your grandma or like I said, podcast, it's a really great thing to sort of pass the time. It's very meditative, especially once you get into a groove, sort of getting that nice, smooth sort of area there to put. Oh, that's right. I'm doing some cheesy ones right now, I think. That's the plan. We're gonna go for cheese. Let's see. How many we got here? 1, those. Do the cheesy one first. Okay, great. Keep going. Oh, hi.
Hi. What do you, is there a way to handle these if you don't want to serve them one by one?
Oh, yeah. You could cook these all. They're very, very, hearty rather. Once they're cooked, they will just sort of hang out for a very long time. You can reheat them really easily. They take well to punishment, and so if you want to do that, if you want to reheat them, or just make them beforehand, put them all on like a sheet pan in the oven at 200 or something. That also would work to keep them warm. As long as you're cool with making them all individually, you're good to go. I think there are like, if you have like a griddle, you could probably make multiples of these. Just kind of treat them like pancakes. Try and pour them in a very center location so they'll sort of spread out nice and round. And if this whole thing was a griddle, I could probably make 4 at a time. And in that situation, I might use something to sort of spread them out, right? So if you've ever been to like a creperie or like a crepe shop, they oftentimes have like this big thing. They'll put like a measured amount of batter on there, and they spread it out with this big knife to get a really, really thin crepe. And so if you had something flat like that, you could maybe use like an offset spatula or something to sort of spread it out, and then you could cook a bunch at a time too, instead of just 2. So that's definitely an option to sort of consider if you have the equipment to do that. But otherwise, yeah, oven warming them, or even just like cooking them all, putting them in the fridge, and then either reheating them in a pan or reheating them in the oven the next day is going to be totally fine. They're really, really nice. The batter doesn't have a lot in it, and so it's going to be what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be effective, and it's going to keep that sort of same texture no matter what.
Are those cheese?
Those are ham and cheese. We got the 2 cheeses are going to be not this time around, but the next time around.
And can you stack them on each other?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, so when if I'm not stuffing them like this, I will just stack them high, sky high, just like pancakes. They don't stick to each other because they've got that nice butter around the outside. Yeah, definitely. That's what I would do. They're very, very nice like that. That's actually what I did when I was testing out for this program. Is I made a whole bunch of them, stacked them up, and just had them sitting in my fridge for breakfast for the next couple days, which is kind of a nice little way to go about things. All right, quick show of hands. Who has had a crepe from the first batch, or rather, who still wants a crepe from the first batch? Okay, great. Let's getting a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your patience as well. That is exactly what I thought we were at. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't counting wrong. So here's 2 more for whoever is next. These are ham again. Yep. Next 2 are going to be, next 4 are going to be cheese only, and then we'll get back into ham. Okay, great. Well, no, wait. Let's make sure it's people who haven't gone yet. Okay.
And Chris?
Yeah.
She just said she hasn't eaten them, but...
Okay.
So if you were doing vegetables, you really would have to cut them quite thin.
Yeah, if I was gonna put veggies in here, like with a quesadilla, I'd probably want to cook them before and then cool them down. Make sure like my mushrooms or my onions were like very soft, and so they're more flexible. And I definitely do the quesadilla method. I probably wouldn't try to do a quarter. It's if you have thinner crepes too. If you're doing like the spread out method, the vegetables are going to get a lot more contact with heat, so they're going to cook a lot faster. That's why a lot of times you'll see like raw onions and stuff in crepes, because they cook a lot faster. So, but it's worthwhile experimenting with what you can get away with, basically. Oh, I don't even have a crepe in here. What am I doing? Guys, whew, I'm slacking over here.
That was delicious.
Oh, good. I'm happy you liked it. It's one of my favorites. Usually what I'll do is I'll get ham and cheese with hot sauce and red onions whenever I go out to get crepes, and it's just a lot of fun and nice and tasty. These ones are basically just quesadillas I got going on here. Okay.
Nice and melty.
Yeah, I mean that's why Swiss is just one of my absolute favorite cheeses in the entire world. I'm a Reuben guy through and through. Okay, let's see. So 1, 2. 3, 4. I'll save those for later. Hello, Leo. I got a cheese one here, which I think is not what you were waiting for.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah.
Hey, Chris, is there any restaurant on the island that is
That's a really good question. I do believe there is. I think, what's it called? Nat's Nook makes crepes, and they are pretty good from what I have heard.
What restaurant did you say?
What's that? Nat's Nook in Vineyard Haven on Main Street. That little sort of coffee shop that's hidden in the back there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they make a pretty good crepe, and they have like the big professional 12-inch ones, which are really fun. So.
Who's the manufacturer of those pans?
These pans, that is a sounds like an easy question, but it's actually not because they just these technically were bought from two different manufacturers. It's definitely like a pan I think is coming right from China, usually China distributors, and so they tend to get sold to different distributors which sell under different names. I think one is like Sin Loon or something like that. I can try and it's actually on the lids if I go find them real quick. Let me see if I can do that really.
But they're I really like the look of them.
Yeah, these are whoops.
Yeah.
These are probably one of my favorite things that we have gotten with this sort of upgrade of this kitchen. I just really like them too. So.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me get this one cooking, and I'll get you that brand name actually. But if you search stoneware induction burner,
Okay.
you'll find it too. But let me see if I can find what.
No.
Oh no, take me 2 seconds. It is. Yeah, one of them is No Name, and the other one is Royal Star.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
What's that?
Should I have lids for other types?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The lids are really nice. They're clear, tempered glass. These are cheese again, but I do have hams coming in just a second.
Wait, did I already get a cheese?
You got a ham and cheese, I think, and I think we need a cheese for you.
Not have the old cheese here? Want the old cheese?
Yeah. That's.
Well, you got it. Want them? The back one away from the people that
You guys got it. We're almost there. Everybody's about to get some.
Isn't he the waiter?
No, he's not. He's doing his own thing. Leo's doing his own thing. All right, cool. The hams are coming. All right, so I just took a ham off. We'll go ahead and get that cut right now.
This is old cheese.
Yes, cheese as well.
Does
Yep.
anybody want the other old cheese?
This is ham. Yep. And then Leo, you've been waiting for that too. Go ahead and get that.
Can I just get one for my dad?
That's the one for your dad. Did you have one for you already too?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the one for your dad. Okay, great.
My dad already had.
Oh, he's saying you already have one. Okay, great. Well then, whoever hasn't had hams, that is welcome to take that from Leo if they want. I've got 4 more hams on the way right now. Does that feel right? Do we have 4 more people left? I think you two, and then Jay. I can cook another one. I got stuff right here. That's not a problem. I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to eat it up. Okay, we'll go one more, and then not a problem. All right, sweet. So literally sweet. We're about to jump into the sweet section of our program here, my friends, which means we're going to kind of go back through the order again. Hopefully, we're working it out. I don't think there's necessarily a better solution, but with this one, I knew there was going to be a big bottleneck up here, so I wanted to make sure we kind of had some sort of semblance of order. I hope it's been working out for everybody. Okay, Okay, great. So those are my last ham ones. I'm going to start right into sweet crepes. So what I'm going to be doing with the sweet crepes, I'm going to stack them up out front here. Those of you who have plates in the back, again, go ahead and grab the crepes as they are done. Just come up and take one, and then go ahead and just sort of make your own beautiful. There's another ham and cheese, 3, 4, beautiful. I got whipped cream over here now.
Oh.
And chocolate, we got berries, little extra napkins. Go to town. Please just remember that I think there's enough for everybody to have like a pretty healthy looking crepe. Sweet. So when you're cooking the crepes by themselves, as opposed to what we've been doing with this sort of quesadilla method, you want to wait until the top is looking kind of just like that. Hopefully you guys can see it really nice. It's still a little bit wet, just a tiny bit wet. And then we're going to try and do some fun sort of flipping here. Whoops. Listen, I said we were going to try. Okay, cool. And then then we're going to let the other side brown, and I'll flip it back to the original side. I just always like to take a look at the bottom side before I go and make sure that it's looking nice and solid like this. And if you're cooking them ahead of time too, this is actually not a bad place to sort of stop. And then if you're going to pan fry them later, this is really nice. This is a fully cooked crepe too. I just like it; just tastes a lot better when you've got crispy bits. So. Rock. Okay, some more ham and cheese. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Everybody enjoyed them so far?
Yes.
All right, good. It's a nice batter, right? Like these are thicker than I would normally make them, but that's actually why I like this pan too. Is it makes a really nice kind of like quesadilla crepe, I guess. It's they've got a nice, for me at least, they got a really nice mouthfeel. They're kind of squishy, but not like in a weird way. Like just especially with the ham and cheese, it just really goes well together. So I'm happy you guys have been enjoying them as well.
Would you put your mustard in the crepe while it's cooking?
Yeah, you definitely can do that. I just didn't want to make too much of a mess.
Yeah.
If you're like working and you're cleaning in between, you can definitely do that. And but occasionally it'll come out, and mustard just does not do well in a pan. So I avoided it just for ease of use. But yeah, 100% you can do that, and you're not going to run into any problems whatsoever.
Did you put salsa in stuff?
Yeah, you can put pretty much anything you want in these things. The biggest thing you're going to run into when you're stuffing your crepes is going to be whether they are going to, whether they're going to leak, right? And so with a nice small pan like this, that's not usually much of a problem, because if they leak, there's not really anywhere for them to go. Like even those cheese ones leaked a little bit. But if you're using a bigger pan, that could be a bit of a pain. Or if you're using one of the pans with like the weird, with like the no lips, But yeah, put basically anything you want in there. So there's 2 more hams. I think that's everybody should have a ham by now. So that's great. I'm happy we got that rocking. There's 1 extra too, if anybody is so desirable.
I'm going to give it to her.
Okay, sure. And we're gonna flip this one up. See if I can. I'm gonna get really good at this by the end. I guarantee it. Awesome. So this is our first one. Anybody who wants to from the back, feel free to come up and grab that. Yes. Kelsey, thank you very much. This is how I always cook. I just forget. It's literally sitting here right in front of me too. It's not gonna. There's nothing wrong with that. You guys, I will gladly cook more. If anybody wants that one, they can have it. Otherwise, we'll just let it sit there. We are gonna put sugar in there though, because that's pretty important. So at this point, we've used 1 batch from here. So we're gonna use the sugar that we need for 2 batches, which is going to be what is that actually? 2 teaspoons. So we're gonna put about a half a tablespoon of sugar in there, and just a little bit more maybe. And this is also gonna help them brown up, which is gonna be nice as well. A little bit of extra sugar in there is going to help them with the Maillard reaction. Do not want brown butter. So thank you for that reminder. Anybody who's cooked with me before realizes that I often do this. It's just kind of, how things go. But easy to fix. There's now beautiful sugar in there, which is going to make these have a little bit different of a sort of texture. And they're also going to cook a little bit browner, a lot faster because of that sugar. The sugar is going to give them a little bit more sort of bite, a little bit less soft. And if you put more sugar in there, they'll be even more crispy. But I think what we have in there is going to be just about perfect. And a really nice spatula is helpful. For me, I really like a nice short one like this because I have more control. But any spatula is going to work. The trick is you want a thin top. This part right here that's going to be getting under there. When they do stick, which they do occasionally, you want to be able to get under there really nice. And so this spatula is going to be the thing to make that happen for you. All right, there's another sweet, well, you know, sweet-ish. As long as you put plenty of stuff, sweet fruit on there, you'll be good to go. And we'll keep rocking the sugar. Yeah, of course. I'm so happy that everybody came today. This is the best. I planned for 36 crepes, and it looks like we're going to make 36 crepes plus. So that's what I'm talking about. We're not going anywhere until this is all gone. So.
I know.
Come on, this one's being a little difficult. Yes, I'm buttering it each time. Much like when you're doing waffles, I like to butter it every time. It just ensures that it's going to not only be safe and not stick, but also that they're all going to taste really good because there's a little bit of butter in each one. And a lot of that is because I didn't put any butter in the actual batter. If I put butter in the batter, I'd be less concerned with buttering it each time. I'd probably just let the nonstick of the pan kind of do its work. But this adds a little bit of that butter flavor in. It helps keep it nice and tasty. So that's part of why I'm buttering every time. Just makes it taste better, honestly. It also helps a lot with it sticking, like a lot. So. Oh, this one's off. I was just like, why isn't this getting brown? What can I help you with?
If we wanted to use the butter, is there any tip to help it blend in better? You said sometimes
Yeah, I put it in last. Much like we did with the oil, I put it in last. That batter, when I put that oil in, was pretty cold. It's still pretty cold, and so the butter tends to sort of solidify. But don't use warmer ingredients. Would be a good one, and then definitely put it in last and try and don't be like me. Try and whisk it in as you pour instead of just sort of pouring it all in and then incorporating.
So maybe bring some of that to room temperature, like the eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Now, again, I like it cold. That just for me, I feel like I get a better product. It feels like it's got a little bit more mouthfeel when you use a cold batter. But especially if you're using butter, it's not going to ruin it. Like worst case scenario, you'll have some bits of butter in there, but they'll melt while they cook, and it's not gonna like be the end of the day if come on. Oh, so close. And this one's on again, so it's actually not sticking, which is great. That'll do it, That's definitely, can't cook without heat. That's kind of an important part of the procedure. So this is the patience part of the game, of the day, where we've kind of gone through the sort of the motions, and you guys kind of now know how to make crepes yourself. In fact, I bet I could pick one of you guys out of the crowd right now. You can come up here and make a crepe if you wanted to. Does anybody want to do that? No. Okay, cool. I'm just checking. I will gladly serve you all. No worries there. I just figured I'd check if anybody was feeling adventurous and wanted to come give it a try. Well, to be fair, this is everybody's kitchen. This is the community kitchen, so this is your kitchen. It's just I'm the one kind of in charge, I guess. All right, there's another crepe going here. Again, I'm going to try and stack them up, so if you can reuse your plates, that's going to be great. Do not worry if you can't, or if you lost it, or if you don't want to have, ham juice. Come on! I think this one might be for me, because it's that's the one that was kind of weirdly cooked. Perfect. Oh, it was just this one. I'm about to have another one coming off, but it's just not done yet. Almost there. So when you're doing like really professional crepes too, they'll a lot of times they will they what's it called? I think it's called a peel or something like that. And the extra batter will, they'll try and like collect it, but we're not doing that today. I think there you guys good to go.
Perfect.
Thank you, of course. So it looks like a quarter cup is definitely the win for this 5-inch pan or 6-inch pan. But you feel free to experiment, and there's nothing wrong with thick crepes too if you like them thick for whatever reason. Just put a little bit more batter in there. They're actually really nice and tasty. You can kind of stack them instead of doing like a half quesadilla like we did. You can kind of make these like they get almost like I'm trying to think of what they're like. It's almost like a noodle kind of when you cook them thick like that, like a spongy like rice noodle or something like that. And you can slice them up after that and like mix them in, or make like big thick sort of almost pizzas. You can do a lot of weird stuff with crepe batter if you so desire. Just make them a little bit thicker. It kind of changes the experience.
Chris, if you're using a gas stove, you keep it fairly low.
Yeah, you want medium high actually. This one doesn't even get any higher, unfortunately. I think I might turn this one up. You want them to get brown, and they're not getting quite as brown as I'd like them to for that first flip. This one's almost perfect. You just want a little bit of browning happening before you do that first flip, and then you'll brown the other side and then flip it. And that's usually where I'll sort of finish it off.
So medium high on it.
Medium high, yeah, definitely. If you're using a cast iron, you might have to turn it down as you cook because that cast iron will start to heat up as you go. But for the beginning, I'd definitely start with medium high. Hey.
I just wanted to let you know that my mother-in-law used to use crepes to make homemade manicotti.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly. It's very similar in that way. They're very, very, what's the word? They're very strong. Like it's very hard to break them once they're cooked and once they've sort of made their pattern. So if you can, you stuff anything in there. Like honestly, these would be great for enchiladas or something like that too. Just like go to town. Oh no! I found a lump because I'm a. Don't tell. Shh. Don't tell Chris. That's me. But yeah, no, they're great for stuffing with literally anything you want. One thing I really like to do too is almost like a dumpling. You could put a lot in the middle and do kind of like Crunchwrap Supreme style. I don't know if you guys know that folding method, but it's you fold the edge, turn, fold the edge, turn, fold the edge, turn, etc. And then you can put that back in your pan and sort of seal that last end, or stack those up in like a casserole dish with a nice sauce, almost like an enchilada or something like that. But rolling them up like a taquito is good too. They're really versatile. They kind of can do anything you want them to do. And as far as the batter is concerned, basically you can put anything in there you want as long as it's not sort of chunky. You want a smooth batter, and so because of that, you want any additives you put in that batter to be smooth. So herbs are fine. Any sort of powder is going to be fine. If you're putting cinnamon in there or something like that, that's great. But don't put something like chopped onions or diced garlic, like brown garlic. You can. It's just be prepared that you're going to have sort of chunky little crepes. They're still going to be incredibly tasty. No problems whatsoever there. It's just that they are going to be a little chunky. I know. I see it too.
He did.
That's kind of the fun part of this. You never know what's going to come out. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. As much as you can. We do have extra plates, but as much as you can is always nice. These are gonna be great. I hope for those of you who started on the sweets, do you mind sharing what you chose? Yeah. All right. Good choice. Nutella banana is the way to go, my dude. All right. I think this one's pretty close over here. Let's take a look at the bottom there.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, that's good. They don't take long to cook. They're cooked pretty much immediately. It's more a matter of how much browning you want. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah. You could do that even if I did put the sugar. Like, just put confectioner sugars on top. Also, a really nice thing if you just like sugar, just put some sugar right into the batter at this point. It'll melt and you'll get like a nice sort of caramelized, crispy bit. Yeah, definitely. Put the sugar in at any point. Put the sugar in multiple times. Basically whatever you like, depending on. Oh no! I need the surgery over here. Perfect. So that's just about right. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's just a little tiny bit of browning, just a tiny bit on that first side, and then I'll let the other side cook fully, and then I'll just flip it out one more time just to get a little extra browning.
Thanks for bringing it up closer to the camera.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm so happy I have this here to be able to do this. This is one of the coolest things that we got. It took us a long time to get it set up. We had it set up, but it wasn't recording, and I've recently found out how to make it record, which is why everything's on YouTube now, which is so exciting. Leo, what's up, dude? You need to leave? That's okay. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, of course, man.
He's getting permission, like he's
There we go. Ooh, that one's actually almost a little too much, but that's good. That means it'll be done in no time. We won't even have to flip it back over.
Chris,
Yes.
he's telling you thank you.
Oh, you got it, Leo. Thank you, man. It's so good seeing you. Okay, great. Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming, guys. We're doing good. I think we're gonna be done right on time. So.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I'm so happy you guys could come.
I need the waffle batter to do.
Oh yeah, waffles worked for you? Good. Did you do anything crazy with them? Just playing. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. I just like hearing crazy stories if I can, you know? Doesn't mean you have to have them. Of course. Thanks for coming. All right. God, these rapid fire now. One of these is a little bit hotter than the other one, so. I think it's because I'm just cooking them at the same time, right? So it's like two per, I guess. I'm not sure. How are we looking on top? Is everybody, we got plenty still? Good. That means the staff will be happy. When there's leftovers, everybody that works there is happy. So that's how I get to keep doing this, you know, keep everybody happy. I'm just playing. I do this because you guys all come here. That's the beauty of it. Without you guys, we don't get to have fun like this. So thank you for coming. Thank you for eating. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for asking cool questions. It always makes me sort of be like, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that, you know?
What about freezing?
Freezing? Oh yeah, I would personally, freezing the crepes isn't going to hurt them, but what's going to happen is when they thaw, they're going to get moist. So when you thaw them, you either want to thaw them under heat, like cook them in the pan from frozen, or in the oven, because when they thaw, they're just, the water that turned into ice crystals is going to turn back into water. They're going to get weird and soggy. It's not going to be bad. They're just not going to be as good as they were. I would freeze the batter if possible, and then cook them fresh. That's going to work out a lot better for you. You can freeze them, but
If you froze the individual crepes, you could put wax tape in between them, or just
you shouldn't have to, as long as you let them thaw completely. That's definitely going to be helpful if you're trying to heat them individually. But I wouldn't. You can do it. I just wouldn't recommend it. Or if you're going to freeze them made, like stuff them and then freeze them, because then it doesn't matter. Like the filling is already going to make them soggier. So you reheat them, they'll be good. But yeah, I would. You can't. It's not going to hurt to do it in, like, you know, they're still going to be edible. They're just not going to be. Ooh, that one got a little too crispy. Come on, I'm failing over here with this flip. It's okay. It's okay. So yeah, you can see the difference. I put these in basically at the exact same time, and this is just like a difference in burners. You know, this one only gets so hot. I'm actually going to give them a little flip, and this one just is a lot hotter. So, and because these are stoneware, they are starting to heat up as we go. So this one's been on a hotter burner the whole time. So it's just going to cook a lot faster, which is fine. That means we're going to get crepes faster. So yeah, back to freezing. Experiment with it. I personally have they never last long enough. Like, I put them in the fridge and they last maybe 2 days at most, and that's like a big stack. Like, I'll do this entire triple batch and it's still like, it's just never enough. It's so easy, just reach in and just shove an entire crepe in your mouth, you know? It's usually not a hard thing to get done. or have them with like a little bit of fried eggs. Yeah. This is an induction burner. Yep. So induction burner uses magnets to supercharge the metal. So in here is a magnetic metal that's in the bottom plate, and what this is doing is it's bombarding it with a bunch of magnetic forces. It's pulling and pushing on those magnetic particles in the metal, and in doing so, it's heating them up. And as it heats them up, the pan gets hot. And so, I don't know if you can see on the bottom here. Let me. Man, I'm failing on this one pretty hard. Once I get this out, I'll show you what the bottom looks like in the screen. Okay, sweet. So it's got this little metal piece here, right? And that's essentially what the induction burner is salting. The rest of it is all just stone, and so that transfers the heat into the stone, and that's how you get a really nice even cook. Induction burners are really good because they're safe. This is only hot because the pan is hot. It itself isn't that hot. It's really hot because I've been using this pan for a while, but it cools down a lot faster. It's nowhere near as hot as like an electric burner would be on a stove. So they're much safer. They're really nice and efficient. This one was like pretty cheap, honestly, for this double burner. Like you can put this in an apartment and you're just going to be set, basically. They're nice. They're fun. You have to have particular pans though. If your pan's not magnetic, it's not going to work. And that's easy. You just take a magnet, pop it on the bottom of the pan. If it sticks, it'll work on an induction burner. That's like the easiest way to test it out. Yeah, on the bottom of the pan. You just take the magnet, put it on the bottom of the pan. If it sticks, it will work on an induction burner because it works with magnets. That magnetism. That's just kind of how it does it. Again, I think I'm not in. Man, I keep failing on this side. I really kind of don't know it, understand it innately as well as I probably should. I think I'm probably made up maybe 20% of what I just said. But that's essentially how it works. It's a magnet. In here is a coil that is creating that magnetism. It's pulling. I believe it's pulling on the magnet, and much like how you can create electricity from breaking magnetic bonds, we're creating heat instead. Yeah, cast iron works great on induction. Like absolutely my favorite thing. We actually bought a bunch of cast irons that I've been using, but these work really good for crepes. And cast irons will work for crepes. It's just we only have big ones. We only have big ones here, and so it just didn't like. I wanted to be able to do individuals for everybody, so hopefully that kind of worked out. Just kind of keep doing this little flipperoo here as we go through these. Sweet. How's everybody feeling today? Did anybody do anything cool? That wasn't, getting ready for crepes? No. Oh, yes. How does this keep happening? Thank you. I don't know. I think it must be. So what'll happen? These are safe. These are very safe. Again, like I said, incredibly safe. If you are running it, it won't even run without the pan on it, because then you're literally just shooting these weird magnetic rays into the space. And then if I take it off too many times, which I do, I've been taking this off so many times, I think it auto shuts itself off. It's like I don't know what you're doing, but you're not cooking the way I want you to. So I'm pretty sure that is why that's been turning itself off. Right, great. Yeah, it did. Okay, let me see. I think maybe because it's off for a while. I'm gonna go and see if it turns back on. Okay, this one did turn back on. Okay, so that's good. So yeah, it will do that. When I do pull it off, it goes to that little like 3 dots, and that is sort of it saying. Yeah, this one's.
See it close up, so I'll fix it. It's really good. The battery's like so simple, but they're so good.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be hotter. I'm gonna stop flipping them because I feel like I'm getting lost in my own experience. All right, cool. We're looking good. We got a lot more batter. Haven't been counting. Can I get another show of hands just to make sure that I'm doing good? Cool. Thanks, guys.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Perfect. Beautiful. That is where we're at. That's great. I've got plenty of batter. We're not going to be shorting anybody, so that's great. Exactly what I was hoping for, and I even have enough for staff, which is really the most important thing about this program, is making sure everybody else gets to try all the cool stuff that we get to make.
So on this sweet, we want to crepe to be crispy.
I kind of like it. It's not going to ever really stay crispy. It's going to. I just want it to be brown more so than crispy. You can definitely. Oh, jeez. I'm going crazy over here. This is just sort of my inexperience with these pans. I like them a lot, but I only cook with them here, and so I haven't really had a chance to like get friendly with them and get really, really good at my sort of.
Like nice pants. I like the handle.
Would you use them, Chris? What else would you use the pans for?
I mean, these I usually have been using for. I mean, they're the perfect size for a 6-inch quesadilla. But I really like them for eggs. You could do 2 eggs in here perfectly. They get really nice crispy edges and they're easy to separate. That's usually what I cook in them, honestly, is just eggs.
So you just put butter in there for taste, because I noticed the batter isn't sticking to the side.
No, and there's like these are very, very, very good
For inexpensive
non-sticks.
pans.
Yeah, exactly. They're not that expensive. They really don't stick. They're beautiful. I absolutely love the way these look. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And then this little thing right here is a temp gauge. I don't know if you guys have seen. That was red when we started. It's white now. So that kind of tells you this pan is hot, which is like kind of a nice little, just a little feature. Just something that you maybe weren't sort of expecting. Handle doesn't get hot at all. It's really super cool right now.
You could pour from it too.
Yes, exactly. They're very multi-purpose. These. Very, very big fan of this. Just as a concept, just as like a sort of a size, what it looks like, what it does.
I love how just like
There we go. That's a little better.
nonstick and spray.
Yeah, they're pretty fabulous. I'm kind of in love with them a little bit. Awesome. I know. I mean, they're kind of they're the stars of the show tonight. This one. Oh, thanks, guys. Well, should we name them? Do we want to name them together? Is that a thing? Does anybody ever name their things? This one I feel like is maybe called Speck, because he's very speckled. Not to say this one isn't speckled, but speck also being a type of meat dish, I believe. If anybody's ever had speck before. I think it's like, I can't remember specifically, but I think it's like a flour-based meat product.
There you go.
Yeah, it's speck. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is a type of ham. So this one's speck after the ham. And you guys have any suggestions for the other pan? Span?
Oh, no, it's spick and span.
Oh, spick and span. I like that. All right, I can take that. Hey, that's definitely on the list. I'm not saying anything. Speck and span. I can get behind that, honestly. What's the weirdest thing I put in my eggs? Like for like omelets or something like that? That's a good question. I actually haven't put a lot of weird things in my eggs. For me, I like cheese. I like peppers and onions a lot. I like a good just like standard crispy egg without like anything necessarily in it. And then I have a bad tendency of going to restaurants and asking them if they'll make me a Reuben omelet, which is essentially all the ingredients from a Reuben but put into an omelet. So you put the corned beef, you put the sauerkraut, you put the Swiss cheese in the omelet, and then you put the sort of Thousand Island or French dressing on top.
Really?
And I just asked them to do that, and surprisingly, if the place has a Reuben on its lunch menu, they'll almost guaranteedly do it for you. A couple places I've had to convince to by just like telling them to sell me an omelet and a Reuben, I'm like, I don't care, just put them together. Like, it's not about the money, it's about the experience, you know? But that's a really fun one. That's probably, I guess, like
That's the weirdest.
the weirdest thing I put in my eggs. And it's not even so weird, it's actually really freaking delicious.
Weird doesn't mean bad.
Yeah, exactly. Weird thing.
Unusual, how's that?
Unusual, definitely the most unusual thing, for sure.
Transfer to your plate.
Yes. Wait, for real? Oh, dude, I love me some Dock Street. Yeah, that's a good reason to go there again. I am here for that. My go-to at Dock Street is either the linguiça breakfast, or I'll go for a steak and cheese with extra onions. That's what my dad always used to eat there. If I call up and say that, they're like, Chris? I'm like, it's me!
No mushrooms?
No, just, I mean, I like mushrooms, but that was just the order. I mean, the mushrooms come automatically, I think, but I get extra onions as well. My dad was an onion fanatic. Fiend, I would say, maybe even. Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
When you make an egg, like an omelet,
Yeah.
milk or water?
When I was younger, I always used to see my parents add milk to my omelets, and so I started always adding milk to my omelets. Then I stopped buying milk. I don't have milk in my house pretty much ever, which is really sad because when I want to make waffles or crepes, I'm always just like, yes, I'm putting water in again, which will work just fine, by the way. You don't need milk for this recipe. And so I do, yeah, usually. And I did for a while.
Milk or usually water?
Milk. Water you can put in there, but water really just kind of, it doesn't really even stretch it that much. I mean, it kind of does. It traps that water. It's going to make your eggs a little bit moister. Most of it's going to evaporate off when it's cooking. It's really, the way I guess I viewed it, it was sort of a poverty thing that my grandma used to do, I think. You know, when like she didn't have what she needed necessarily, she just put a little extra milk or a little bit extra water in there, and then you get all of a sudden an extra egg out of nowhere, you know? And so I think that's where that sort of came from in sort of my family history, and then for now it's kind of become just a thing that I just think about doing. But I don't eat scrambled eggs much at home anymore. I'm pretty much exclusively a crispy edge.
Even omelet at home, you put in milk?
I don't ever cook omelets at home. I like omelets. I like somebody else to cook an omelet for me. Like that feels like an experience for me with omelets. Like I will cook an omelet for myself, but generally if I'm cooking something of that nature at home, I'm doing a frittata. I'll put a bunch of crap in the pan. I'll pour a bunch of egg over the top, and I'll like sear it real hot, and then I'll put it in the oven and finish it off. To me, that just like is usually easier to share than the omelet. And I don't have to worry about the flip, because honestly the flip with the omelet, I put way too much crap in my omelets. So when I go to do the flip, I'm like, why is this in a pan? Like I need a flat top. I need like a giant flat top where I can get my big spatulas under there and just be like, "Wah," you know?
You and your child on the old TV show, she did not add milk.
Really? Yeah.
Just throw an egg in a pan and stir it. And
Yeah, that's
do this enough, and then the next thing you knew, she had an omelet in like 15 seconds.
that's a very French experience usually. A lot of French omelets, what you'll do, this one's kind of crispy, is you'll make your egg whip, and then you'll take while they're in the pan, you'll agitate it the whole time.
Yeah, that's what she does.
Yeah, exactly.
With,
And that the reason you do that is
with Chinese.
yeah, with chopsticks. Yep. That is the best way to make a French omelet. The reason you do that is you get a lot of curd. Normally with eggs, they cook. If they all cook sort of together, you get almost sort of like a patty, I guess. But if you do that, you get really nice curds. And then what you do with a French omelet like that is you want to make all those nice curds. You want to stop moving, get a nice seal, flip it over.
In the egg? Is in the egg?
Yeah, the egg curdles, right? Like normally you try.
I thought curd was from milk.
It is. It's a similar. It's just like a shape, right?
Oh.
You want those little bits of egg in there, and so what you do is you agitate, and then right when it's about to be done, you stop. It makes a seal. You flip it, and you take it out before the inside cooks. And that way you have like almost like an over easy on the inside, but it's cooked. It's not just like full liquid. It's cooked because there's little bits of curds in there. It's almost like a porridge. Really fabulous. That's a French omelet, and it is hard to do well. But man, if you practice, and these are perfect pans for doing it too. If you practice and you work at it and you get it good, you'll never eat anything else again.
There's the thing with beans. That's the way you practice. She said pour beans in a pan.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's on in the middle of the day. And she's something about beans. It's the way to learn how to flip it.
That makes sense. Yeah. Oh yeah, beans. Oh, for flipping. Yes.
Just to practice on just cold
Yes,
beans.
100%. Because what it does is it practices the weight and the sort of how things move in your pan and how physics affects them. Yeah, beans are definitely a good thing. The sort of throwing without losing them, and that's sort of just one thing that I've been doing here is if you sort of seed it, you get it a little bit sort of on the edge. It's usually a lot easier to flip.
Okay, say that again about the egg.
If you sort of seed it, right? So
Wait, what seed?
It's just so seat is like a word that I use when I'm like basically preparing something. You find a nice comfy place for it to sit, a seat, and then from there the action is easier to flip it, right? When it's in the bottom of this pan, it's got to go up that whole lip. But if I seat it on the lip, then it's already half the way out, and I can flip it a lot easier. Yeah, 100%. I can definitely show you again. Yeah, it flips over a lot easier.
When you're ready,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm just waiting for this guy to go a little bit more, and then I will definitely. That's the next.
my omelets almost always come in this building.
Yeah, and that's part of the why. That's part of. Well, so honestly, if you're doing an omelet, I wouldn't try and do a pan flip. What I would do with an omelet is I take your spatula, I would tilt it away from you.
Yeah.
I get it under here, and then I flip the whole thing away from
When
you.
I do make an omelet, that's what I do.
Yeah, help you make gravity work for you. Otherwise, that's part of why I don't cook omelets. It's like the thing. So again, so seating. So you want to put it down like that, so it's sort of off the pan a little bit, and then it flips a lot easier.
Got it. I think I also speak to myself.
I mean, yeah, that's a good problem to have as far as I'm concerned. Making sure we're still got. Okay, I haven't been counting. I think you guys still need some. You guys. All right, sweet.
Chris, thanks. I'm handing it out.
Yeah, great. Yeah, of course. Thanks for hanging.
See you Wednesday. See you Wednesday.
Perfect.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to try flipping. I think I'm just going to still do that.
Yeah, spatula's where it's at, honestly.
Especially with all the stuff.
Yep.
Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, thank you for your patience. Are you guys kidding me?
Probably could have made a lot of these preps ahead of time.
No, I really wanted to be able to make them all here. This process is about repetitive motion and trying it over and over again. So this is kind of the thing that this was the class, was watching over and over again, see the same process, see me mess up a bunch of times, see how I fix it, you know, that because then when you run into those problems, you'll have tools to use to get yourself out of trouble, as it were.
The woman next to me has been saying she has an oven, and she's kind of waiting to see if we're going to make the one that she's
I know, I'm just joking.
It's cool. Thank you. I appreciate that, Susan.
letting you know.
Yeah. Cool. This one's got a little tag on it. All right. Here we go.
I'll take one.
Thank you.
I'm going to use my hand.
That's okay with me.
Thank you.
There's one right here, Mike. Listen, this is not a restaurant, my friend. You got to get out of your own chair. Leo's gone. Oh, that's the thing I shouldn't have said on video.
Right. Delete.
Good news is I'm getting way better at this. The bad news is we're almost done. Thanks, guys. We're good with that.
You made a crepe comfort.
Yeah, awesome. And I mean, how easy is this? You can do it with nothing.
Oh, easy.
It's literally just eggs and flour. The milk is a bonus. You can do it with water if you have to. Like, it's so good. I almost want to go home and cook more tonight.
Maybe you could just make it flat champagne.
Yeah, why not? Oh man, we went a little over time. Oh well, next time I will be better prepared.
You can't leave, you still want batter.
I know. Oh, listen, I'm gonna cook it for the. I'm gonna cook it for this.
You're so sweet.
Yeah, you guys definitely believe me. We are here. What I'll probably do is I'll make a couple thick ones, with some ham and cheese for the staff, and whatever's left over we'll do sweet. Maybe I'll put some of the berries in there and do kind of like a crepe frittata thing. You guys are welcome to hang out and watch that if you want, but not required at all by any means ever. Yeah. Well, perfect. Now we're rocking.
Now I have strength to sing in choir.
Yeah, there we go. You can be like, and I'd like to dedicate this song to Chris Looks Crepes. Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming in.
These would be like $10 in cans from
Oh yeah, 100%. Yep.
It's more like 12 hours.
Oh, no.
14. See? No, we were just there. The expensive crepes are 60.
Yeah, of course. I'm so happy that you guys could come.
And we found the other DVD that was missing.
I was here for that. I was here.
No, you were here for the first one.
Oh, you got both.
Yes.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm talking about. What a DVD. You're just a missing DVD.
Oh.
No longer missing.
They almost sent me to jail.
Almost. Library jail though. It's really cushy there. You get to just eat crepes. Honestly, that's all it is. Thank you. Of course. Yeah. Thanks. All right, my dude. You got a plate ready? Let's go. Thank you so much for your patience. I appreciate you. Am I correct? Everybody's gotten at least one?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, there we go. It's time to make them for the staff.
I am now a crepe convert.
I'm so happy for you. I could not be happier, in fact. I love crepes.
They're easy, a big, great, nice, light supper.
Yeah, exactly. They're crepes. They're so cool.
Yeah, they are.
Put a savory crepe, put a little salad on the side.
And you can make the batter and then make your savory crepe and your dessert crepe all with the same batter, and you got it all in one go.
Yeah. Delicious.
Thanks
Thank you, Chris.
Of course, thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it. Nice to meet you. Okay.
Thanks again, Chris.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for coming in.
And actually the information about the
Yeah, oh yeah, this is a good one. Induction burners are fabulous. Thanks for coming, everybody.